For most of my life, I didn't know I was an anxious person. If you are an anxious person, I want to share something I found that changed the way I react when anxiety appears. I'm not a medical professional, so everything I'm saying is just my thoughts based on some researches. What if I told you that a few simple techniques helped me regain some control when anxiety appeared? So let me tell you my story. And then share your story in the comments below. I was an incredibly anxious person throughout my life for different reasons, and until I was 36 I had no idea how to deal with anxiety attacks. I didn't even know that I had what people call anxiety. But as a person who wanted to stay in control of every moment of life, I couldn't control certain situations that my counselor later called anxiety attacks. That obviously made me so mad, first of all at myself. I remember the day I finished my first film project in Canada and realized that the production budget wasn't enough to pay my entire crew. I had to find 20 grants within a few days. And that was something I had never expected. My first big project in a completely new country, and I fucked it up. I blamed myself so hard that I was shaken. I kept telling myself it was just money, and money shouldn't make me feel like this. My body reacted as if my entire life was collapsing. Then I started digging into this problem and found some ways to make myself feel better. I'm going to share them with you in this video. Some of them are simple and some of them require discipline. These things helped me feel better, and maybe they can help you too. I don't want to be a nerd who reads Wikipedia pages and videos, but let me try to explain what I mean when I speak about anxiety. As human beings, we all experience different situations in our lives, and each new year brings us more experience. It can be positive or negative, and all these experiences create memories in our brains. Simply speaking, memories are just patterns in the neural networks inside the brain. So, in simpler terms, when we have experienced something that caused us pain, we know that the next time we meet that trigger, we need to be more careful. And in some cases, we can feel this future pain from the past somewhere inside our minds, which can often feel very natural. We know that we shouldn't touch hot surfaces and that we need to stay away from poisonous snakes, frogs, or millions of other things that can cause us pain or even take our lives. And that works in both directions. That means that when we experience something pleasant and good, we can also feel anxious about it. But we are used to calling it curiosity or excitement. But in a nutshell, that can also be called anxiety because it has almost the same nature. So I'm open to it as long as it doesn't kill me immediately. So we can conclude that anxiety is a feeling we get when we see or feel something that could potentially bring us some sort of pain or discomfort. At some point in the past, we've already had a similar experience. Let me know in the comments below if that makes any sense to you. So, what is the difference? As we already know, there isn't much difference between bad anxiety and good excitement for our brains. Both feelings make your heart rate rise. You become sweaty, you can lose your sense of your surroundings, and you can feel special sensation inside your gut. Now, let's discuss a few things you need to understand if you want to find some relief from the different ways anxiety can appear. The first is that anxiety is in your body. And yes, I've already talked about neural connections and the brain, but you need to hear me out. Even if the brain starts all the processes during an anxiety episode, your body receives the signals from the brain and starts the other reactions that we spoke about before. And as creatures who know how to operate our bodies, we can influence our body's reactions. This is how I discovered that I could influence what happened next. Okay, so now let's speak how do I calm my anxiety in the moment. Everyone has heard of 4-cycle breathing, where you inhale and exhale for 4 seconds with another 4 seconds between breaths. You inhale for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and wait for more seconds before the next inhale. This is the foundation of the anxiety calming technique I use. Let's go even deeper and learn another breathing technique that has helped me during anxiety or excitement episodes. When you feel an anxiety episode coming, try this. Take a deep breath in through your nose. When your lungs feel full, take another small breath in through your mouth. Then slowly exhale through your mouth. So you fill your lungs with a huge amount of air and then slowly release it through your mouth. Repeat this for a couple of minutes, and when I do this, I feel the tension begin to leave my body. When I first tried it, I just forgot about that anxiety, and that was so fun. And I know that someone might think, that's another piece of hype bullshit. But I encourage you to try paying attention to your breath and listen carefully to what I'm going to say next. That's important because most people don't understand it well. I have practiced different methods of meditation for almost 7 years now. I started practicing because I was curious about my body and my brain, especially because I'm a stutterer and was diagnosed with ADHD by my psychiatrist a few years ago. And over the last few months of practicing meditation, I began to understand why meditation had become so important to me. It isn't because meditation is something religious or even mystical in other people's minds. It's because meditation can calm your mind and give you the ability to observe your mind and yourself. And when you practice consistently, you begin to create a few moments of space between an action and your reaction to it. And that's the jewel Buddhists often talk about in their most famous mantras. In that moment, when you notice the space between action and reaction for the first time, you realize that you are not completely powerless against your first reaction. You see, all these emotions we have are energy and motion. So if you don't give energy to that motion, you can give yourself a simple choice about how to react to a situation that could potentially cause an anxiety episode. When you feel that moment, you obviously don't want to experience any negative feelings. So you can twist your reaction into something more joyful, even if the situation isn't one of the happiest ones. So breathing and meditation, two tools I return to whenever anxiety appears. Anxiety is one of the most powerful tools of evolution. It saved human lives when people were living in caves and had to remain in a state of high alert every second of their lives to protect the tribe and their food. But I seriously doubt that we need to carry anxiety as if we still need it in the same way. It still helps us avoid dangerous situations and uses our memory as a database of the pain and suffering we've experienced before. I think we live in a safer world than our ancestors did, even with all the horrible wars and epidemics. But sometimes we experience this fear of uncertainty. The fear of that pain from the past that we don't want to experience but somehow already do, just because we remember it. And that's insane. I didn't eliminate anxiety, I learned how to stop treating it like a command. And I really encourage you to practice meditation and deep breathing if you need help managing your anxiety. And thank you guys for watching this short video. I want to hear your thoughts and stories in the comments below. So subscribe to my channel if you like what I do. And this was Dmitry. Be happy. Peace. Please.